Right, great. Okay. I'm really bad at introductions, but I will try my best again. Uh, it was really amazing to meet, to at least see each other virtually the other day with the soft introduction of the whole project. And I warmly welcome you all today for the first session of first of the introductory sessions where we invite the participants to share a bit about their own practice and their background. And just to acknowledge this, we have 5 participants from across the region who have joined us for this residency program. And to start with, that's Cheremi Shimbre who's a visual artist and a researcher from Manipur. There's Akhu Chingambam, singer and songwriter from Manipur. There's Labdyang CM, who's a performance artist from Meghalaya. There's Pranami Rajbangshi, who's a researcher and designer and a writer from Assam. And there's Rituparna, who's a queer rights activist, a poet, and a storyteller and a social worker based out of Assam. And Kumam Davidson, he's joining us as the curator of this project, who's holding the whole, who's the glue in this entire system, and who will be guiding us in translating these talks into a more physical, who will provide the physicality to these conversations, to the concepts that come along the month. And with that, I think I would like to I would like to invite Chermi to address the group and start with her introduction session. So hi Chermi, and I hope that okay, sorry, one small thing that I missed. So we will have like there is no particular time set or time format, like no one, you can talk for as long as you want, but then between every time we shift the presentation to another practitioner, in between we would take like a 5-minute break just to acknowledge the shift in the presentation. And in that time we can take our time off, we can leave the screen, or we can have conversations, questions if we want, whatsoever. And this is like a fancy Google Meet thing, so I think we can like raise hands and all that. I don't know, whatever. So that's it. Okay, then I would pass the mic to Chirmi.
Hi, sorry. My network is a bit unstable today because I'm using my friend's data. My Wi-Fi has stopped working, so hopefully we can get this right. Thank you so much to Dev and Rishikesh for having me. I'm sorry if you lose me in between because sorry, I think okay. Am I on? Devdip, can you give me a thumbs up if you want to see?
How do you give a thumbs up?
Like, just give me like just give me a thumbs up to your webcam. Let me know that you're on the same time frame.
You were gone for a tiny bit, but now now you're back.
Okay, all right. I'll try to do this really quick because there will be a lot of glitches. So can I just share my presentation? Great. Just
Okay, so I think her network, she's having like a weak network. So maybe Chirmi is sharing her presentation with me, and I share my screen while she talks. Yeah, yeah, that'll take a couple of minutes. I'll update once. If it makes sense, maybe Akku can go first while Chirmi figures the stuff out, and maybe she can go second. If that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, great, great. Okay, then let's do that. Okay, in that case, I would like to invite you to take over the session and yeah, introduce your practice to us.
Okay, so I am not very good, introducing myself. Uh, as Devadeep said, I am based out of Imphal, and I've been part of a music band called Imphal Talkies since 2008. The band was formed in Delhi during my PhD days. So I came from this, what do you call it, this academic background. I did my PhD in physics, uh, to be specific, on cosmology. Um but during those days, during my PhD days, I was like very active musically. I mean, being part of various protest events across the country, and especially about the things that issues that are related to minority in the country. So I've been part of campaigns like when there was a Tamil genocide in Sri Lanka, and various issues related to Kashmir, then the Bhopal gas tragedy victims. I was like camping at Jantar Mantar with the victims. Apart from that, many other things. So that's how I was shaped, to understand socio-political issues across the country in India. And there was also the time I really opened my eyes. i was I grew up in Manipur as a young student, being part of various street protests, without really knowing what was happening back home in Manipur. And those days it was more like a I don't know what to say. It's difficult to define those growing up days amidst firing guns and the tear gas shells and all. But when I landed in Delhi after my 12 plus, I could understand, how Delhi sees people like me with a different feature, facial feature. And so that's how I started, you know, how do I say? I mean, to understand, India as a country as a whole. Then then I was part of, I started writing music and all. But during my PhD days, I formed a band, and we recorded an album. I think back then, I mean, it's now, uh, there's so much of, platform where you can promote your music. But back then in 2008, 2007, there was nothing much, so we had to go to the studio and record an album and put out. And we were lucky that and Rolling Stone India just came to India for the first time, I think sometime in 2008, 8 or 9. So they picked up the album, and then they did a fantastic review of the album, and then it kind of helped us grow as a band, as a musician. And I was working in Thailand. And in Thailand, I decided to leave the academic world. I left my post in Thailand and then came home in 2012 to do music full time. Uh, so since then, I've been home. And 2012, I was part of this travel log series by Star World. It was called Diwaris back then. And I collaborated with a British band called Asian The Foundation. And so that's after that, sometime in 2014, no, in 2013, I started a project called Imphal Music Project, in which I work with various artists like Rahul Ram from Indian Ocean. He is a good friend, and I work with this guitar player from Kolkata, Sumit Bhattacharya. He's also a very good friend, a fantastic guitar player. We work on a song called Song for Bangladesh during the Sabak protests. I don't know if you guys remember the protests back then. And after that, I work with Guru Ruben Masangwa. He recently got Padma Shri. And so the project was like, where I try to create a platform where artists from subcontinent can come together and talk about things and create something musical, and 2014 uh, was the year I started the festival called Where Have All the Flowers Gone. So it's a festival, I was a big fan of this late American folk singer called named Pete Seeger. He passed away in 2014. I think February or March he passed away in 2014, and then that was the time I decided that I should have a festival, to kind of a tribute to this great American environmentalist folk singer Pete Seeger. So we started the festival in 2014, and we did not expect that we would have that many people to attend the festival. And we have, like, I don't know, like 6,000-7,000 people just there. And we did not expect, and the best thing about this festival is it's a crowd-funded festival. I mean, for last many years it has been a crowd-funded festival, and then it works fantastically. We have been approached by various what do you call, corporates and all, to fund the festival, but so far we have been able to refuse them and then do the festival in our own way, in whatever way we want. But again, COVID came, and for last 2 years we have not been able to do the festival. But hoping this year we would we will make it bigger sometime in September. And I want to say a little thing about this song, Where Have All the Flowers Gone. It's actually a song by Pete Seeger, which he wrote, I think, in 50s during the Vietnam War. And he was talking about flower as a metaphor to the youth, who were sent from America, to fight for America in Vietnam, but they came back in body bag. They were killed, and they lost their lives and then came back. So the flower here is a metaphor. And then when we started the festival, I could really relate to it. How the youth in Manipur don't have a life because now things are considerably better, but when we are growing up, everything sets at like 5:36. There was nothing what's happening, and we thought, this is a song for us, and we should, I could relate to it, and then that's how we picked the name. And flower we use as, like, in this festival we do like lots of activities. We screen films, we have music festivals, we have artists coming down from various northeastern states and from Bombay, from Kolkata, and we have like above 1,000 children being part of the festival from nearby schools. And we used to what do you call, change the venue of the festival every year, but it became very hard for us. And then in the festival we work very closely with the community where we do the festival. And actually the mothers around in Manipur, of course you might be aware of the Maira Paibis. So the mothers with the torch, so they became the volunteer of the festival, and then that makes the festival very peaceful, how the mothers handle the thing as a volunteer. So so yeah, I think I have talked enough of the festival. And sometime in 2015 I started a project called a native tongue called Peace. So again, this is a project which was early, funded by Foundation for Social Transformation in Guwahati. So they were very kind enough, to fund like the first 6 months of the project. And and this is a project I've been planning to do since 2010. In 2010, there was a 3-month-long blockade in Manipur. Of course, you guys must be aware of the hills and valley divide in Manipur, and there was a time, Muiva of NSCNIM was trying to enter his hometown, and the Manipur government put a ban on him to enter Manipur. So there was a huge, protest in Mao, against the state government for banning Muiva to enter. Then the police fired, and I think 3 boys were killed in that incident, but there was a blockade after that. So there was a time, among the Meiteis and the Nagas, there's so much of hatred, no trust, and back then I was a PhD student in Delhi, and we had a group of friends in Delhi, and we raised some money, and so it's a 3-month of blockade, and then there was no medical aid in the hospital, no LPG, no petrol, everything was running out, and we raised money, and then I bought like this medicine from Bhagirath Place in wholesale market in Delhi, and I came down to Imphal, and then I'm talking about 2010. So I distributed the medicine all over, in many districts like Tamenglong and Chandel, Senapati, and all. So and there was a time, there's so much of hatred and so much happening, and then people were scared that the riot could happen anytime, the killings can happen anytime, and there was a time, somewhere in Senapati, I landed up at a children home, at a shelter home, and then there we had children. They had children from various ethnic backgrounds: the Meitei kids, the Tangkhul kids, the Kuki kids, Nepali children. All children were there, and then they were sharing one roof and sharing whatever they have, eating from the same plate. And in that moment, I look at the children, and then I was so hopeful, after seeing what happened in last 3 months. So I look at the children, I look at the shelter home, and then I started imagining, like, this could be a model of Manipur, where you respect each other and then share whatever you have, and I wanted to work children after that incident, my personal experience. So in 2015, I started a project, a native tongue called Peace, where I work at a shelter home, at the children. I mean, the project is still going on, but again, COVID kind of made me stop the project in between, and so we teach the children music. I bring in all kinds of friends who are musicians, who are teachers, who are scientists, who are physicists, and let them interact with the children. And we have put out 5 original music. I wrote the music with the children, and then I let them be part of the, the process of making a song. And you can check them out in YouTube. If you type the name of the project, it will pop up. And after, so that's the project. And I work with a team, like my musician friend and many other people. So after that, I was traveling across Assam and Bangladesh. It was a project, sponsored by India Foundation for the Arts in Bangalore. So I was looking at Manipur beyond the geographical boundaries, because I got tired of, Manipur, tired as in, I've been writing and singing, like I have put out like 4 or 5 albums, and I literally got tired of the bloody situation, nothing much happening, I don't know. I didn't know how to be hopeful about Manipur. So I wanted to look at Manipur beyond the boundaries. So I started traveling across Assam to meet the Manipuris in Assam and in Bangladesh. And so again, that's a project where I collected so many stories, like oral stories, folklores, literature, and I worked with my band and then put out an album. I must be in 2018 or 19. So we put out an album, and sometime in 2019 we started with my one of my bandmates. We started a place. We started a space called the Foothill. It's a community art space, so where we provide a platform to artists who, they can come perform, they can do residential thing, the project. So it's a space available to various artists, and we have been having shows there like weekly. But for this year, I mean, we haven't started yet, um, because I was busy and all. uh, that's there. And so as part of this space, we are also trying to curate a museum of folk music instruments. So I've been traveling across the hills and meeting various artists, I mean mostly folk musicians, and collecting music instruments. Like I have collected around like 16, 17 instruments from various tribes and communities of Manipur, and hopefully in the coming months I should be able to launch the museum. And yeah, that's it. So yeah. Thank you. I think I've said enough.
Thank you so much, Akhu, for this for this insight into your presentation, into your practice. And I mean, I would ask for a small break now, and also invite people for questions if they have. Also, if they want to start some discussion. There's this. Yeah, I mean, we can have this in a conversational way, or you can type in the chat, or I don't know how it goes. And yeah, and yeah. So if we have questions, now would be the time. And also, I have few curious questions that I would like to present, but it can wait.
No, I was actually very overwhelmed. I know Akhu from a long time, but unfortunately, we have never met in person. So just listening to him for the last maybe 20 minutes, I don't know, 15 minutes, it was such a journey. And honestly, I have no question. I just want to say thank you for the journey that you have made yourself and with other people, and for sharing with us, and also having created those albums and songs. And it's really something for us and for people out there. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Davidson. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Akhu, for that. And I have always admired your work and also your music. I think I met you it was in 2018 at Anything, when you had performed in Guwahati. That was the first time, and I love how you've had such a long and deep journey where it's so inspiring to listen to how your music becomes so much a part of your politics and your journey. And I hope that this continues, and I hope that it's really an inspiration to us other artists, to see you constantly challenging and bringing up new ways of seeing, of singing, of listening. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you, Lavdia, so much.
Hi, Akhu.
Hi.
Hi, we haven't met yet. So thanks for sharing your experiences with us. I've always known you like since my college time. If you'll know, we have a lot of mutual friends. So one of your very close friend from Manipur, or that's what he told me, was Manpreet. If you know him, Manpreet.
Oh yeah, Manpreet Dhillon.
Yeah. So I got introduced to your poems through Manpreet. So Manpreet was my roommate's classmate. So he used to come over to our house and used to have poetry recitations in our house. And that's where he told me that I have a friend who even writes better than what I write. That's how that's how I got in, that's how I got to know about your music and
This
your
was
poems.
this was in Delhi or where?
Yeah, this was in Delhi 2011.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that's how I know you since then. And since then, and throughout the passage of time, I've met even more people who share a mutual friendship with the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
So always inspiring, man. You're like,
Thank you, man. You
yeah.
guys are very kind.
I would just like to ask a small question, but before that, again, yes, as everyone else has been saying, that I think we have known Akhu in our formative years, and we have like the first time I at least heard of him was also during the 12-13 period, and it also came off as such a strong thing, like protest musician. It was something. It was a statement back in those days, and at least I could just wish to get inspiration from such a stand that people from the region had been taking within the region and outside. What I didn't know was that you were studying cosmology, which is extremely interesting, so to say. But then, how did this shift come to be? Like, I mean, what got you into the science of cosmology, and then what got you out of it?
I mean, my aim in life was, to do physics and then get out of the country and work somewhere abroad as a postdoctoral fellow. But music came in between, and then it screwed everything. So I mean, I knew that I'm not gonna discover a galaxy or discover a theory. I mean, I was just an Everest physicist. I can still pretend to be a physicist and get salary out of it, and live a comfortable life wearing a leather suit and formal suit and all. But that was not me, and so I had a hard time, like a 3 month of sleepless night to pick which side. So it was a hard decision, but I don't know whether it was. I mean, still my parents don't get me. Living that and then doing music without anything. So so that's a hard thing, financially, of course.
Yeah, I can imagine that it becomes a challenge for most of the practitioners who are up and coming in the region, primarily because of the fact that there is no support infrastructure, no framework for creative practices in place, no scope for mentorship or just guidance, so to say. But I mean, I can just mention how glad I am that you took the latter choice. You decided to stay within the region, and you decided to help build the scene, to help build something which is not there. And I think we all can appreciate that fact, that despite of all these challenges, how important is this work to actually be here and try to work within the region, and just try to create scenes and try to create avenues for more people to connect and to collaborate and for creative practices to flourish.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And
Okay,
I'm so glad to be part of this group. And I don't know how would what kind of thing I would be creating in this residency, but I'm hoping something would come up, something good, and then I'm looking forward to collaborate with all of you, Labdia, Davidson, Chimimi, and Pranami, Rajbangsi, Rituparna. Yeah, so I'm looking forward, excited actually after being confined inside a room, last 2 years. Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah.
yeah, we are going straight out to public spaces
Yeah.
from lockdown situations.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when Akhu mentioned about collaboration, it also kind of strikes me, again, uh, from a very personal, my point of view, basically. When I think of collaborations, when I think of, art, research collaborations, there's a strong element of friendship, something that I always, always have said with people I've worked with. And this was the first thing even I shared with David as well. David, the fact that there's so much more than just the work, that we share. There is there is there's intimacy. There's this, we make coffee for each other. We make soup for each other. We fall sick. We look out for each other. In the process of creating that creative piece or creative work. And I also come from that kind of a perspective, where art and research was a space for many people out there, queer folks, trans folks, women. It has been a space of bonding as well, and not just the work as such, but a space for bonding, a space for belongingness. I think a lot of us became uh, the best of friends as well, through work, through art collaboration. So yeah, so it is, I mean, it just strikes me to kind of, collaboration always strikes me this idea that, okay, I mean, there's so much more in that word. And very I think also the fact that we are in a context where where, like Akhu mentioned, it's hopeless, many times it's hopeless. And I think the space that we share, I think, has that seed of hope that, there's love, there's friendship, there's solidarity, and there's also art and expression. So yeah, but I don't want to hijack the space today, but I just felt like sharing this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mom. And you were definitely not hijacking the space. The address was much welcome. And yeah, I mean, if we need to take a couple of minutes break, we can do that now. If you need to go out, have a breather, take some, I don't know, whatever. And after we come back, I would like to invite Chirmi to present her stuff. I mean, I have her presentation, so I'll be sharing the screen. So yeah, as it goes, if you want to take a break, we can do that now. And if not, we can move on.
2 minutes, definitely.
Great. Yeah. Okay, we do that.
Yeah. I'll just get back. Also, David, you will see me. I'm constantly on my phone. I'm actually taking notes. This is just a habit that I've sort of learned or inculcated over the years. So I do on my phone. I don't want to lose
no worries,
notebooks.
no worries at all.
Yeah. See you in 2 minutes. Yeah.